Have you not listened to your elders, my friend?
I've listened to the elder, but I don't listen to.
Okay, you have.
Welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3 generations of KISS fans telling you why we love it loud.
It's the best collection I've ever seen.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3 generations of KISS fans telling you why I love it loud. I'm one of your hosts, Rob Myers. Welcome to Right Between the Eyes. This is a KISS vinyl tag sent from our buddy Xander, which is coming off of the Record Spinners vinyl tag from last year. So Xander wanted to try and do another one. The vinyl tag community, or the vinyl community, picks different, groups or artists or things to do vinyl tag. And our KISS community, that was really kind of fun, and it went really well from different podcasts. And, Nick and Nico aren't here on this particular episode. Some of the video episodes, it's just me solo aside from our normal podcast. And I thought this would be a lot of fun to do this again. So Xander, thanks for having a great idea of continuing the KISS vinyl tag into the next year. And things got so crazy busy just in our own household and with our podcast. I didn't have time in the month of April to do the KISS vinyl tag when Xander first put that out there. And there's another tag, a KISS collectibles tag from Rick over for It's All For You Demon. So you see the clothes that I'm wearing. After this video stops, I'm going to stop the camera and then bring all my KISS collectibles out, and I'm going to shoot that video. So it's 2. I was going to do 2 videos in one, but I think I'll just break it up over a couple days or whatever to give you more content from the channel. So if you're unfamiliar with the KISS vinyl tag, us vinyl collectors, it's a good way that we collect all this music and stuff. And then you see I got my vinyl back in here, and unless I'm playing a particular album, sometimes we don't get the vinyl back out, and there's always some interesting stories to, as I'm looking at my camera to make sure the video is actually recording, the audio is recording. So there, little side there. But sometimes we may have a record that we bought 6 months ago or years ago, and we haven't pulled it out because maybe it's the 9th copy of The Elder or whatever it is. So sometimes doing these vinyl tags, it's a good way for us as collectors to get stuff back out and go, oh, wow, this is really cool. Oh, I bought this thing. Here are the reason I got this. So it's also a way to be more engaging with our collections. And some of the stuff that I've got pulled out down here on the floor, I'm going, man, I haven't played that in a while. So this is a fun thing to go, oh, I was trying to find something to play. And as I'm going to put some of these records back in the thing back there, I'm going to go, well, maybe I'll keep this out. Maybe I'm going to give it a spin because of getting ready to do this. So let's go through all our social media handles real quick. We're at Twitter at RBTE podcast. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Right Between the Eyes. We are on Instagram. You can email into the show and carry on a conversation with us. That'd be great. We'll read those on the air. That's at Right Between the Eyes podcast at gmail.com. We're on YouTube. Hello. And if you listen on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or even here, rate and leave a review of the show, and we will read that as well. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through my paper here. Got my handy notes that Xander did for the prompts for us to do the KISS vinyl tag. So I haven't watched any of the other KISS podcasts that have done the 2024 KISS vinyl tag yet, because I was wanting to participate first and get mine out and then start commenting. So if you're like, oh, Rob hasn't, commented yet, it's coming. If you haven't done one, leave your comments down below or make your own video and share it with us. And we'd love to comment back on it and maybe even talk about it on the episode or on a future episode of the podcast. So I'm going to read Xander's prompt here. It says, calling all KISS vinyl collectors, follow along in the comments by filling in the blanks with 10 records from your vinyl collection. Pass this along to KISS friends so they can join in the fun. You can copy and paste the prompts below and subscribe. He's got to KISS Army. Go subscribe to KISS Army. But subscribe here, hit that bell and smash the like button for Right Between the Eyes. We want to gain more followers, to have more content to be able to put out to you guys and just share in this wonderful KISS community. Okay, let's get started here, as I've got my screen kind of half paired here, so I'm looking off to the side to my Microsoft Office here. So the first prompt for number 1, Back to the Stone Age. Show the oldest pressing in your KISS collection. Mine is, and surprisingly, of the first 3 albums, this is the oldest one. I do have one from every album so far, but a good chunk of mine are from the 2014 releases, and I do have, almost doubles. I have original pressings of just about every one, with the exception of the first 3 albums, except for this one. This is Dress to Kill. So this is the oldest pressing that I have. This is the PRC pressing, and I've got it here on one of my labels. Sometimes this is labeled by the NBL 2016, or excuse me, 2016. 7016 pressing. That's just a way to denote. And I use an app, if you don't have this, called Discogs. It's a really cool app here. You can kind of see some different things here, but it gives you information on your album, release date, and you can scan. There's a little scanner here. If I can get this going right, bear with me. So right up here, there is a scanner. So it's probably looking at me. So you can scan the UPC of your vinyl and it'll give you information on the album. It'll tell you what pressing it is and a lot of different things. So I've had this one in my collection for quite some time. I got this from a friend of mine when I was really getting back into collecting. He had duplicates of some stuff. So Dress to Kill was midway into my collecting where I said, oh, I need to get some of the first albums, and he gave me a Dress to Kill. So this was a wonderful gift from a good friend. And it's always kind of cool when you get gifts like this from people where they go, hey, I know that you're a Kiss fan, as the sun is really washing me out here from the window, so I apologize. But getting things like this from friends and family and just acquaintances, that when they go, hey, I know you're a Kiss fan, even if it's something that you already have in your collection, it just kind of makes getting this thing really cool. And the vinyl's in really good shape. And on another video for the Eric Carr one where I tore the album, I'm always like, don't put your records back in the cardboard and the plastic sleeve. So this is a good way to be able to pull your records in and out easily and stop that wonderful ring wear that you see on it. But let's be honest, there's something kind of cool about some of the ring wear to know, oh, this is vintage. So this is my oldest 1970 pressing. It's not a first press, but it is in that first year of the album being released. So there we go. That is Dress to Kill. All right, number 2. This is your last chance. Show the last most recent addition to your Kiss record collection. So on some of these prompts, I'm going to take some liberties here. It's Kiss. It looks like Kiss. It's technically not Kiss, but it is. I've already shown this. I've already ripped the inner sleeve, so we know that it is. Let's turn his eyes on. Eric Carr here, Unfinished Business. Let's do the slide over like my wife showed me how to do, or right between the eyes. So this is such a great box set. I have yet to listen to this. I've been extremely busy. Just from, last month, picking this up on Record Store Day. Was that the 19th of last month? But so cool. So this is the most recent Kiss. I mean, you could definitely tell it's a Kiss album of sorts, even being Eric Carr. Solo type of an album. I'm doing air quotes are released by the family. But yes, all these were done during his time in Kiss, and none ever made it to Kiss, but some are actual Kiss songs on here. So I have to include this. Ace Frehley probably would have been up here because that would have been the newest Kiss album that I have. One will appear in here, which is technically my most recent Kiss album, but I'm going to use it for something else. You'll see that in a minute, and hopefully I'm smart enough to remember, hey, this was the one, but neither here nor there. Really cool. The Eric Carr 2 LP set, Unfinished Business. So that is number 2. This is your last chance. All right, number 3. I Feel So Good, I'm So Alive. Show a copy of any live Kiss album. So when this series started, I was over the moon that they chose this, and I've got to go with Kiss Off the Soundboard, Tokyo 2001. This was really big for me when just this last tail end of the farewell tour was announced, that Eric Carr, I'm stuck on the last album. Eric Singer was returning to the band after Peter Criss wanted more money and was trying to hijack the tour a little bit from Gene and Paul. And they were like, screw it. We'll get Eric. We know he'll come back and he'll do the job. What a fantastic show, and what a short-lived lineup that this was. The only shorter lineup is the Mark St. John. So Mark St. John played less shows than what Eric and Ace did together. But about a month or two of this tour left from the token. I think it was only 7 shows left on the farewell tour when Eric rejoined. But this was the start of putting Eric and Tommy in the makeup. Like it or love it, I happen to really think it's kind of cool. So there, I said it. But I love this. This was one I've had in bootlegs in various forms over the years. So when this one came out, I still love this. This is still my favorite from the series, being that this was such a cool lineup with Eric and Ace. The songs were changed a little bit. Some of the ones that were added in here. Talk to Me was added in here. And I want to say there was another one that was put in here. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But this was cool to hear Eric back in the band and playing in a different lineup. So this was giving us new breath in the Kiss Army, going, maybe there's going to be more after the farewell. And of course, there was going to be another, 23 years still yet to come. I love this one. I wasn't going to go for the Alive 1, Alive 2, Alive 3, Alive 4. I go to this one quite a bit. I love all those, but I wanted to do something a little different. So this is off the soundboard, 2001. I Feel So Good, I'm So Alive. All right, number 4, Journey of 1,000 Years. I love the titles of these Xander's and songs that you chose here. Show the most beat up Kiss record you have. I had pulled another one. I have a really beat up copy of Alive. I have 2 copies of Alive that have seen better days, and I kind of hobbled them together to make one okay-ish copy of Alive. But I've been looking for an excuse to talk about this one. I haven't brought it out on the show. I think I sent a message to Xander early on when I picked this up. And I think he and I even talked about like, oh, maybe we'll do a show on this since we both had recently picked it up. So Xander, maybe this is a prompt for both of us. I am choosing the originals. This is the second pressing of this album, which you can see right up here, second pressing. So this has seen some better days. This is actually in better condition than what you can see. Some of the cover is missing down here. This is in much better condition than the Alive one. Pieces are torn and ripped on it, but this is a little beat up. There's a sticker on it, and I got this for $40. You can really feel like there must have been some moisture on this one. It feels kind of porous down here, and you can really see the ring wear. I've never had a copy of the originals. I've always kind of wanted to get one. I do have all of the inserts to this, having this booklet. I think all of them are in here, I'm pretty sure. So I've got the booklet right here, and I won't pull all of the records out, but I'm going to get the first Kiss album since it's just celebrated its 50th anniversary. But I do have all of the sleeves, and even the sleeves are a little beat up, dinged up. The records, for the most part, are actually in really, really good shape. I've only played the Kiss album. So as beat up as... This isn't probably as beat up. If I showed you the Alive, you might have gone, Rob, I really would have shown Alive. But the fun thing with doing some of these... I'll show you Rock and Roll Over. So since Rock and Roll Over was my first one that I picked for this, I mean, it's kind of tore here off to the side. It's folded over. And again, the vinyl for Rock and Roll Over is really nice. I'm trying to hold it in the dead wax. You know, both sides of it are kind of torn. So this was just a way to be able to get this record out, get to look at it again. And, you know, the originals can be pretty pricey. This came out in 1977, and it was popular enough that they went... I'm probably going to fold that all up. That it was popular enough that they went and had to do a second pressing of it. So this was one that was on my list that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to come across the originals. It can be pretty pricey at times. And this was in the heyday of coming around Love Gun and like, hey, let's put out the first 3 albums again now that our popularity's come up. So this was popular enough to warrant a second pressing. So I know I'm kind of waxing a little bit on this, but just to have the opportunity to talk about this, I took it as the opportunity. So this is not my most beat up copy, but it's beat up enough that it warranted for the spot for where we at here. So this is my most beat up copy, if you will, for number 4, Journey of a Thousand Years. The originals, 1977, second pressing. Okay, number 5, Under the Rose, show your copy of The Elder. I have multiple copies of The Elder. It was one when I became a Kiss fan back in 1989. I was like, I feel like this album is going to be amazing or whatever. And I really do like the album, but it was that album that was kind of hard to find. Kiss didn't talk about it. It was almost kind of hush hush, if you will. So I wanted to know, like, what's the big deal? And before the internet, we want to do a show here sometime on the channel that is going to be called I Didn't Know I Wasn't Supposed to Like That. So this is one that it is a very polarizing album, but this is my copy of The Elder here. One of them that I chose, one of the more recent versions of The Elder. This is the 2022 rather, KOL pressing of The Elder, lenticular cover and picture disc. So we did a couple different ones. This is for the 40th anniversary. This is a limited edition picture disc, premium gatefold jacket, and 3D lithograph cover. So you can see that right there. I wish they had done it just a little bit bigger and do it in the actual like 12 by 12 vinyl. But hey, that's still really cool. And then we've got Paul Stanley's hand on a doorknob there. And there was another version of The Elder. This was a little bit cheaper to get, and the other picture disc version had sold out rather quickly. And this one I think you can still get on KOL, if I remember correctly. And this was just a little bit cheaper to get, but one that I really like. And I have got multiple copies of The Elder, and it's one that I go back to quite frequently, and it's actually quite high on my Kiss list. One day we'll review The Elder, and you'll get to hear what number it currently sets out for me. So, The Elder, the 2022 version of The Elder. Okay, number 6, I'm a 2000 Man, show a Kiss record pressed after the year 2000. I can't think of a better one to do than where that song was played and why that song was played, other than the Millennium Concert. So this came out in 2014, was originally only available in the 2014 box set, and then in the last year or so, or actually probably last couple years now, they made it available individually away from the Roadcase box set, where, you know, this was coming into the millennium. They started in 1999 when they started the concert, and by the time midnight hit, we were into the year 2000 when we thought all the lights were going to go off. And that kind of goes back to the 2021 show. This was towards the getting towards the tail end of Peter Criss's time in the band at the time. So this was originally supposed to be a Live 4, then they kind of held on to it and didn't come out till the Alive box set, and that was the first time that this show was made available, and then it made its way into the vinyl Roadcase edition in 2014. So this was a fun album. It's not one of my favorite live albums. We talk about on the show that the album feels really slow and plodding, and I don't want to throw shade at Peter, but I think some of that just on me being a drummer, I'm going, okay, pick up the tempo a little bit here. But it's still a really fun listen, and I'm glad that I was able to get this and not have to spend the thousands of dollars on eBay to get it, because somebody bought the Roadcase and was parceling them out. I was able to get this right off of KOL very easily. I think it was maybe barely $40 if I remember correctly. But anyway, this is what number we at? Number 6. All right, number 7. I Believe in Me. Show your best copy of any of the 1978 solo albums. So my best copy, so I'm assuming best looking copy. I'm not saying that this is my favorite version. I'm thinking he means this is the best version of this, not your tattered one, but your maybe next to tattered one. So this is the best version of that I have. This is the 2014 pressing of the Gene Simmons solo album. So I don't have any other 2014s. I have all original 1978 versions. I do have a 78 version of this, but I don't have the 14 of Ace, Paul, or Peter. I have them all on 78. So this is the best version of any of the solo albums. It's from 2014, so it's in really good condition, and the poster and everything's all intact. There's a little bit of scratch, or that just maybe could be just from how the image is on mine above Gene's, down below Gene's ponytail above the widow's peak. But yeah, so really good, pristine copy of this, and especially when you bag and board them and treat your vinyls well, they'll last a long time. So this is the best version that I have. Not my favorite of the solo albums, but the best version of the solo album that I have. Gene's I Believe in Me. Okay, the cheapest stuff is all I need is number 8. What was the best deal you got on a record? So I'm pretty sure I bought a Kiss record for $5, $6, 10, 20. This one is a little bit pricier in dollar amount. I think it was 35 or 40. It could even have been 50. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe an annotation will run here somewhere of what I paid for it back in the day, back in 2010, if that gives you a hint to what it is. But I chose this the best deal because this album now is worth anywhere from $700, and I've seen as high as $1,100 now. That is, and I love pulling this out, Sonic Boom, the KOL exclusive. So a year after the album came out, they put this out on vinyl. And I've got it a little bit of backwards here. We've got the sleeve behind it, which I've got everything backwards on this copy. So let's just pull this out here. And mine is on purple. So purple was my favorite color for a while, and now red's my favorite color, and I might have picked green because of Eric or whatever, but I love this in purple. So this is one that I was kind of playing a little bit of loosey-goosey with just because of, I think Zaner was probably looking for something like, oh, I got this for $1. So yeah, I probably paid $40 or $50 for it, but doing some reverse engineering now in 2024, try to go on eBay or go somewhere and buy it, and still even getting a bootleg version of this is going to cost you $50, $60, maybe even $70 at some point. So this may not be the best quality sounding vinyl, but this is in probably my top 10. I'm not gonna lie. I love this album. I love that this lineup got to have an album of their own, and it was great. Again, being an Eric Singer fan, getting to hear Eric play not just on a live album, but new Kiss music. And we've got 2 albums from this lineup and various live shows. So this was a big deal. Things kind of felt new again, being a Kiss fan, that there was all this new merchandise coming out based around this lineup, a new album, a big push at Walmart. There was a Kiss section at Walmart. So going back to 2009, just was a great time. And then seeing on Kiss Online that they were putting out a vinyl. I think they were cheap enough. I could have bought each one of the colors and the black vinyl. I could have probably bought a car, with selling a couple vinyl copies of this, or bought a really nice drum set. But yeah, so I kind of went the other way on it. I turned value into this was a heck of a lot cheaper, almost 20 years ago than it is right now. So number 8, the cheapest stuff is all I need. Sonic Boom KOL exclusive from 2010. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Number 9, I took a flight to Tokyo. Show a Japanese pressing of a Kiss album. So again, this is one that I'm playing a little loose here with. I don't actually have a Japanese pressing. As I'm sitting here thinking, I I don't think I do. I have something from the Netherlands, but to actually have an official Japanese, with the obi strip and all that stuff, I don't technically, but I kind of sort of do. So I'm looking at you, look it up, from 2023, the Japanese edition for the 40th anniversary of Look It Up. So there was a picture disc version of this that they had made available with the standard cover that you know. But when this album, for people that may not know, in 1993, when Kiss took off their makeup for Lick It Up, it was a little bit harder sell in Japan right away, that they associated Kiss being in makeup. So they decided to put this outer sleeve, a giant obi strip, if you will, or an obi cover, if that's really a thing, probably not. But so they put the band in their Creatures makeup, save Eric Carr. Actually, Eric Carr and Paul Stanley. So Paul's and Eric are in their elder outfits, and then there's a shot here from Creatures of the Night. You can see Gene. So they that's not really an obi strip on here. It's colored to look like it. There would have been at the time, and there's a, what does it say down here? Limited edition Japanese reissue, 3,000 worldwide, numbered features. Look it up, with first ever premium gatefold jacket, unique Japanese cover, translation wrap poster, and die cut sticker sheet pad. So all the stuff that would have been on there, and then all of the write-up is in Japanese as well. I told myself I'm not going to pull all of this out, but you get the actual album here, and I sleeved that as well. Oh heck, Rob, let's just open it up. That's what we were talking about here. So the album looks as it is. So this was never a gatefold, but I mean, that is just amazing. You probably can't be heard. I can't be heard behind the album cover here, but it's just very cool. And there, I think the poster is in this set, or maybe it's inside. Comes on a nice lyric printed sleeve here. You can see probably part of that, the lyrics. I'm trying to find the poster relatively quick. I'm probably not going to find it. There it is. So there's sticker sheets. So there's the stickers, the Kiss comic, and some Creatures of the Night stuff there. This poster is really pretty cool. I like this. And again, with it being Lick It Up, this is kind of a mashup Japanese style poster, but it's got the band in makeup with the 78 artwork around it. So that's really pretty cool. So I, at one point, thought about getting the picture disc version, and I believe it's gone now off of KOL. I think there might have been something else in here, but I'm not going to take too much more time with this. Maybe at another point on the podcast when we do Lick It Up, I'll bring this up. Again, part of this was to, pull this stuff out, Rob, and then share your collection. So this was done really, really well. As far as treatments for the anniversaries, I think all the anniversaries deserve to get this type of love and treatment. Give us something else that maybe we haven't gotten in other pressings and versions of it. So Lick It Up is up in the top tier albums, and getting an album like this from KOL is really, really cool. So hopefully once they get things going again with Kiss as far as merch goes, that we will continue to get things like this. So number 9, the 2023 Lick It Up Japanese, hint hint wink wink edition. Not really, but this is what it would have looked like if I had that original version, and then they kind of embellished some other things with it. So there you go. All right, the last one here, number 10, I Was Made for Loving You. Show your favorite Kiss record of all time. So I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to take it a little bit different. My favorite Kiss record of all time, I'm usually leaning towards Revenge, and I'll say Carnival of Souls. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit different, because I've shown that through various vinyl tags, and I almost just picked a different version of Revenge that I haven't shown. But I went a little different. Sorry, Xander. So my favorite record at the time, the album that got me into Kiss that is in my top 3 is Hot in the Shade. This is my 1989 BMG Club edition. I know people will say, oh, you could still find vinyl in the 80s and early part of the 90s. It was really hard. There were record stores around me that had them, but to try and get vinyl was a little bit of a chore if you didn't know where to go, especially if you were a kid in high school. So back when you could tape a penny and, get 12 albums for a penny, then you got to buy, 6 albums over the course of 7 years or whatever. When I became a Kiss fan, I had it on cassette. I bought it on CD. And then towards the tail end, I got it on vinyl. So this is an album I love dearly. This was number 1 for a very long time. Revenge came along and that pushed it down. But this is an album I always go back to. I could sing every single one of these songs backwards and forwards. And even as I'm talking and going, Rob, isn't this really your favorite album? It's very, very close. Just the time back when this was the only album I had to listen to. And again, on a show where I didn't know I'm not supposed to like that. This falls into that category, people not liking it. I love this album to death. To me, it sounds nice and warm. I would like them to get a proper release and a remaster of this album all the way. Make it a double LP, which, getting 15 tracks on an album, the tracks and the space is very, very tight in here. Getting 7 songs on one side, 8 on the other to get our 15, if I'm mathing correctly on a Sunday. But not my favorite album of all time, but an all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorites. There's 3 on my list that my Deserted Islands, if I say pick 3 Kiss albums, what are you going to? Revenge, Carnival of Souls, and Hot in the Shade. Those 3 albums have a special place in my heart. So I kind of cheated with this last one, Xander. I Was Made for Loving You, one of your favorite Kiss records of all time. So that is going to do it for the vinyl tag. A little late to the game here, but we're still in the month where the Kiss collectibles tag is. So behind the live tapestry back here, I'm going to pull that down and start pulling some of my collectibles in different spots off of the wall. I may have to go handheld a little bit because some things are nailed to the wall and sometimes it's hard to hang stuff back up or take the camera and spin it around. So the very next video, probably the next day or so, I'm either going to shoot that tonight and then it'll be up. So be looking in the next couple days. But down below, let me know what was in your collection of all the prompts in here. Or if you feel like you want to do one, please do one. Tag all of us other Kiss podcasters out there and we will chime in on your videos. So on the behalf of Nick and Nico, I am Rob and you've been watching Right Between the Eyes Kiss Vinyl Tag. We'll see you in the next episode.